Hi everyone and welcome to Stamp with Angela. I'm Angela Palmer and I'm looking forward to sharing some stamping and crafting with you today. So thanks for joining me. Appreciate you being here. Sheila, it's great to have you here. Nice that you're home today and able to join us, and anyone else who is live, thank you. Some of you may be watching this recording later as well. So feel free to comment and ask questions and I will answer later when I can. So feel free to ask questions as we go through live too. So I enjoy my stamping and paper crafting, and I enjoy being able to share with you each Thursday at 1:30 p.m. New Zealand time, just to give you some ideas, some tips, some inspiration to help you with your card making and stamping too. So I hope you find that useful and get some new ideas. So it doesn't matter where you are in New Zealand or around the world, you can watch and enjoy, which I hope you do. All right, so today I'm going to be sharing about background stamps. So background stamps are usually quite a large stamp. So I'll give you some tips on how to use those. And we're going to make a card today, and I'll show you how you can just use it with one color, and then I'll show you how you can vary it with two tones as well. So are you someone who likes to use background stamps? Do you tend to use them very much? I'd like to know. And if not, maybe this will inspire you. It's a great way to, create the background of your card just with one simple stamp. All right, so let's get started. I will move over to my craft table and we will stamp. All right, here we go. So hopefully the sound and everything is all good today. Hope all is well. All right, so here you can see the current Stampin' Up catalogue, which is from May 2024 until April 2025. And the cool thing about this catalogue is, as well as the products and things, it's got some sections in it on different techniques and types of stamps and that kind of thing. And today I'm going to show you the pages to do with the background stamps. So if you have a look on page 90 and 91, you'll see background brilliance. So this is a quick one step that you can create the background of your card. And this big stamp here is basically the size that it is. And it's the Leaf Collection stamp, which you probably just saw before here. And you can see that it is a large stamp. So if I grab my stamp, you'll see that it's nice and big, like shown in the catalogue. And down the bottom, there are other background stamps that you can use as well. And basically, it's one big stamp with everything on it, and you can stamp it in one go. So as it says up here, it works best with the clear block F. So that is quite a large block, as you will see, and it can be a little bit heavy, but I'll show you some tips on using it. So if you want to see what other background stamps we've got in the current catalogue, you can look on page 90 and 91. So this is what we're going to use today. All right, so this is the stamp and what it looks like. So you can see that it's all these leaves and together in one stamp. So you could ink up your stamp. Now for something like this, trying to ink it up like that is quite hard because it's such a large area. So what I actually like to do is stamp it like this, and you can see that it's covered. And it's like that. Now, when you go to stamp it down like this, you can't actually see your cardstock. Now, this particular pattern doesn't matter too much. If it's wonky or not straight, you could stamp it. But if it is a pattern where you sort of need to line it up like the world stamp, let me just show you a couple, or even the trees, you don't really want them wonky, or this grid sort of pattern here, or the world, you need it kind of lined up right. Here is a tip on how I will stamp it, and it makes it easier and not needing to hold the large stamp. So I've covered the whole thing with ink. The piece I'm going to use is actually a little bit smaller. It is 37.5 centimeters by 9.5. And what you need is a scrap piece of paper nearby. So I am going to gently, just making sure I've inked it up enough, maybe just down the bottom here. Let's just go over it again since I've been talking. I'm going to carefully lay my piece of cardstock on the top, hold it, and then I'm going to put a piece on so I don't get it over my hands. And basically I'm going to rub like this, so the ink covers the whole thing. And I don't have to lift up a heavy stamp and risk dropping it or not putting it on straight. I could line my cardstock off. Whoops, we have to leave it in one go. And lift it off, and look at that. So you can see a bit of edging where obviously my cardstock was smaller, so that's fine. And then I'll just come with my chamois. Now look at this, a nice new chamois. But it will obviously get a bit of colour, but we can rinse it and clean it and it'll be fine. It may sort of stain and things, but that's all good. We'll still clean your stamps. So I would, wipe it like that in between uses, and then I'd give it a good thorough clean with my stamping scrub and stamping mist when I finished at the end. Okay, so that I've used Granny Apple Green, and I've used one colour for that. So I need to make sure I go right to the edges. I could trim it down a little bit if I needed to, because I haven't quite gone to the edges, so I do need to watch that. So that is using one colour. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try a two-toned colour. So I'm going to do what I did before, but only sort of half the stamp. Now I'm not quite sure which way I had it up when I did this before, but I'm going to ink up with my Granny Apple Green, sort of the first top part of the stamp. And then I'm going to come in with another colour, which is Garden Green. And I'm going to try and go up to where I was. Do the lighter colour first in case there's a slight overlap. At least with these nice colours, you can definitely see if you have coloured it enough or not. All right, so you can kind of see those leaves. It's a little bit two-toned. All right, then I'm going to come in with my cardstock again. So you just got to put it down carefully. Whoops, slightly wonky. And then put this over the top. Now we're going to make sure this time we go right to the edges. So you could use your hands. If you had a brayer, you could probably even roll your brayer over it as well. So we want to make sure that we ink it up nice and strong. Remember the middle too. I know we're focusing on the edges, but let's have a look. So you could always, I'm only thinking of this now, start off with a bigger piece and then trim it down afterwards. So how do you like that? I think that's very cool. So here is my one colour, which is Garden Green, and here's my two-tone, which I think is very cool. If there's a little bit of colour missing on the edges, you could always just sort of blend slightly with your blending brushes. So make sure in between each use that you do clean the block. Get off the extra ink. Get into all those little nooks and crannies. But there we go. But by being able to put the cardstock on top and then pressing over it, it just makes it easier than lifting a heavy block. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use that to make a card. Now, usually I've shown you what we're going to make. Today I'm doing things a little bit different, and you haven't seen the finished product. I'm going to show you at the end, so you'll have to let me know what technique you like, seeing it or waiting to see what we're going to make. All right, so I'm going to adhere that to a slightly larger piece of Granny Apple Green. So it's just 3 mils bigger. So this is 14 centimeters by 9.8. So we're going to adhere those two together when I get my glue. And then I'm going to put it onto a card base. And I'm going to use one of the in colors. And have a guess of what color I'm going to use. The colors are Petunia Pop, Pretty in Pink, Summer Splash, Peach Pie, and Shy Shamrock. So I don't think we need another green. So the color I'm going to use is Peach Pie. So like that. So that's a cool color. I'm going to grab my bone folder and just crease that nicely. And then we're going to adhere that. Where's my glue? Over here. All right. So there's not too much else you need to add to this. It looks, you know, quite good on its own, sort of thing. Well, not completely on its own. We need to add a sentiment, but we don't need to add lots of layers or too much to it. Let the background stamp do all the work for us. Okay. So for a sentiment, rather than use a particular shaped die, I'm going to use a circle die for my sentiment. So this is the 2-inch punch, and I've got some paper. And for my sentiment, I'm going to use the Simply Said stamps. So these are in the new catalogue. They are, you know, great for sentiments because you've got your thinking of you, your thank you, the happy birthday, miss you, and then you've got some bigger stamps, hello, thanks, birthday wishes, just a note. So it covers a lot of things, which is really good. So I'm going to use the birthday wishes. So because I've got some granny apple green and my granny apple green in the background, I'm going to stamp a birthday wishes in granny apple green and then punch it out. Whoops, that did not go well. Let's turn it over. That's okay. We can try again. I should probably, because it's photopolymer, do it on a mat, but just push a little bit more firmly. Okay. There we go. Right, make sure we're going to stick down the right side. So we're going to put that on. Decide where you want it, whether you want to probably left or right. I probably tend to do bottom more than top, but decide maybe there where it's sort of the transition is in between. Then I'm going to add some linen thread and some sparkles to it as well. And then we're going to do the inside. Now the inside is going to be the 2 layers as well, so it coordinates. Now it's a little bit tricky. Where's my stamp gone? Here. I'm going to try something. I like to stamp something on the inside of my card. I was going to see if I could just stamp some. Can you see what I'm doing? One. Let's move that out the way so I don't get ink where I don't want to. If we can wipe the other one off and try and just stamp that in the corner. So sort of like that. So we've got something stamped on the inside as well. Whoops. Let's see how that looks. We've got extra ink around it where I kind of wiped. But that looks cool. We could sort of sponge it, I guess, but there is still some stamp there. My other suggestion would be, which might be a little bit more successful, is ink up a piece. Actually, what we'll do is we'll ink up the whole thing and stamp a piece. And then cut a strip off. This is probably going to be more successful. And then put it on the inside. So we've got to try these things, see what works, see what doesn't work. All right, so we've got this now. So that's just the one color. I'm going to come in with my trimmer and I'm going to cut that end bit off because that is a little bit messy. And maybe like this. And then what we can do is kind of have a strip like that. Or you could have a strip across the bottom, and then it sort of, you know, ties the two together, because it's a little bit harder to stamp a whole individual one part of the stamp. All right. Okay, so let's glue this down. So remember, you've always got another chance to have a try on the back. Oh yes, Sheila did suggest the colour lifter. That's in the other room, so I won't go grab it. That's a possibility. I'm not sure if it would work. But what do you think about the strip? I'm wondering if I should have gone long ways. But anyway, this is what we've done now. Just something to kind of tie them together. Then we'll finish decorating the front. And then it's fairly quick and easy. So do you like using background stamps? Have you used them much before? Okay, so we're going to put our birthday wishes on with some dimensionals and add a bit of linen thread to it. And I'm getting to the end of these. I think we probably just need about 3 to 3. And put it up the right way is a good thing. All right. So some linen thread. What I like to do with my linen thread, it's a little bit trickier, but I think it looks quite cool, is kind of a double bow. So this is how I do it. Excuse the inky fingers. 3 fingers, I wrap it down. So it's wrap it around, starting at the bottom, and then I go up to the top and round, and then I finish at the top. Okay, then you're going to hold it in the middle and get another piece to tie around it. Now you hold that in tight, which can be a little bit fiddly. So to give you a third pair of hands, I'm going to use a glue dot. Just going to glue it on my table and put the bit, now I can't find it, where is it? There. Put that bit down and put that on the top. And so it's holding it while I tie my little knot. Ta-da! Just like that. Okay, now I might need another glue dot just to put it on my card. And then, of course, we need to add a bit of bling. So maybe kind of up there or something. We still want to see the birthday wishes. I might just trim that side down a little bit. Okay. So to finish it off, I'm going to use some of the shimmer gems, which are in colours. So I'm going to use the peach pie. All right, so let's use up the ones on this one using my Take Your Pick tool. So, whoops, I want the other end. So did you know the Take Your Pick tool, you can open it up, switch them around. So that's the spatula. Just put it in and lock it. That's your pointy end. And you've got your putty, which you can use to pick them up, but not those ones so much. Maybe more sequins and things. So let's put a couple on here. Remember, odd numbers are good. So let's go with 3. Whoops, needs to go the other way. Something like that. So those sentiments, it fills up quite a large part of the circle. So there we go. So I'll show you the card I had originally, and then we can compare. So that's the one I had prepared earlier. So similar, I did use the iridescent gems, rhinestones, which I believe are no longer available. So that's why I've used these this time. And the thank you was from the Go To Greetings, which is no longer around. So this is the current set, Simply Said. So if you don't have sentiments and you're looking for sentiments, this is a great one to have. What else? So another suggestion for your circle. So this is quick and easy, lots of cutting and a punch basically, and a bit of embellishment. If you want to step it up a little bit, have you seen the Spotlight on Nature circle dies? So you get 2 here. So these different shapes, well, not different shapes, they're all circles, sorry, different designs on them. You've got 3 patterns. You've got this one, you've got the dash, and then you've got this. And you get, I believe, 4 of each. So 2 sort of bigger ones, 2 smaller ones. So I've got one I cut out earlier, like this. So it leaves, can I put it down? It leaves a little sort of dash around it. So you could sort of put that on if you want to, step it up a little bit. Let's find, I've got a thank you stamp, which is a little bit smaller than my other one. So we'll stamp that like so. And again, we could add some bling to it. So I've got one I did earlier, which is two-toned. So we could put that together like that. And again, add some bling. So you could add the peach pie or maybe something more neutral. Add your linen thread to that as well. But that just makes it a little bit, and again, I'd put it on dimensionals, but just the dies are quite cool. Circle looks great and works really well. It's quick and easy. But if you want to do something different, you could add the circle die if you've got a cutting and embossing machine. So that's just another idea. For coffee and cards, we made this card earlier in the month, but a little bit smaller and simpler. So for that, I used the note cards. And the note cards are white. So the base is white. So then I framed it with the peach pie and stamped with the granny apple green and the garden granny apple green and the garden green. And then we used the circle punch and some other linen thread as well. So that's another option. So there you go. So that's using your background stamps. So just as a recap, just remember, so you can stamp down, but it's heavier and harder to hold. Or you can ink it up, place your cardstock on top, and then put your paper over the top and press it on. Okay. And as I'm doing this, my suggestion could be, rather than have it cut to size, have it a little bit bigger. And that way, because the stamp is a lot bigger, then you could trim it down to size if you don't quite get to the edging. So that's another afterthought kind of thing. So the background stamps are great. As you can see, I didn't need to add much to that at all. I just added, you know, my sentiment and some embellishments and things, and it looks really cool. Whoops, dropping things. So page 90 and 91 are where you'll find the background stamps, so feel free to check them out. They're very cool, and a variety of, from flowers and leaves to dogs to trees to deers, pattern, world map, and then of course the leaf one. So lots of possibilities there. So if you've got any questions, please ask. I'm just having a quick look at questions and things. I see there is a question. Well, thank you for the lovely comments about the card. Yes, it is hard to know where to put the sparkles and things. I always think odd numbers in sort of a triangle shape kind of thing. So often one and then maybe two closer together sort of thing, that sort of triangle shape. So just to go over the colours I used, so peach pie for the card base. Then I matted it with the granny apple green, and then I stamped in granny apple green and garden green. So they were the colours that I used. And yeah, you can just stamp it one colour, like that's garden green, or the multicolours. But just be careful if you do multicolours that you don't contaminate your ink pads. So just start with the lighter colour first, and then just go as close to you can. But obviously you don't want to gap either with the two colours. But I think it looks quite cool with that two-tone look. Very good. All right. I think that's answered the questions. If you've got more, please ask. All right. So just one last thing before I go, just to let you know, so we're in May at the moment. Stampin' Up do have a joining offer. So anytime is a great time to join, because for $189, and I'll get it right this week. Sorry, last week I got it wrong. It's $189 for your starter kit, and you get to choose what you'd like for that, spending up to $285. And they'll send you some order forms and catalogs and stuff as well. And then in May, you will also get some in-color products free as well. So you'll get some cardstock, some ink pads, some markers, and some designer series paper in the 5 in colors. So that's great value added onto that. I can't remember how much it is all up, but over $400 worth of product when you sign up. So obviously, you know, it's good getting a great deal on your products, but there's so much more to being a demonstrator than just the discount. I've done this now for 11 years and met lots of people through it, whether it's customers or other demonstrators. I'm just going to switch back so you're not looking at the table. Yeah, so the opportunity to meet lots of people and also just the experiences you get. Being able to do demonstrator-only events, run your own classes if you want to, but you don't have to. Meeting other demonstrators, Stampin' Up events, and also, yeah, lots of, you get to learn new techniques and things of stamping and meeting new people, whether it's customers or demonstrators. And there's lots of other things as well. I'm trying to think what they are. But if you've got any questions, you don't, no pressure, but if you want to ask and just see if it's for you, you can. Obviously, there's a minimum amount to spend each quarter to stay current, and that works out to be around $5.50 New Zealand, and then you get your discount off that or your commission if it's from sales. So ideally, if you don't necessarily want to be the one spending all that yourself, hopefully you'd get, maybe some orders from others. Maybe they're buying card kits or other products, and I'm there to help you and encourage you. You can be part of a great team. We have a Facebook page, a monthly Zoom meeting because we're scattered all over New Zealand. At the moment, we're doing a card swap, so it's a chance to share ideas and see what others are making and being inspired. So there's lots of opportunities, and it's up to you how much you want to be involved depending on what time and things you've got. All right, so I hope you enjoyed today's card with the background stamps. Hope you've learnt something new. If you would like to order anything and you don't have a demonstrator, please feel free to get in contact with me or order through my online store. The link is in the description today. And if you're not on my newsletter mailing list, I would love you to sign up. That way you can be kept up to date with what's happening. You get a free tutorial when you sign up. I'll let you know about other promotions and things, and I will each week I send a newsletter and some ideas, some tips, some exclusive card tutorials which are only on the newsletter. So the link for that is in the description too. All right, so thanks for joining me today. If you are watching this on YouTube, if you haven't already, please subscribe and like the video, and you'll be able to see more videos in the future. All right. Question about the second quarter. When does it second period end? So basically the Stampin' Up year work in 3 monthly blocks. So the Stampin' Up year actually starts in October. So October, November, December is the first quarter. January, February, March is the second quarter. April, May, June next month is the third quarter. And July, August, September is the last quarter of the Stampin' Up year. So it starts in October. Now, if you were to join in May, we're already partway through, pretty much over halfway through a quarter. So they would make sure if you signed up, you would have at least a full quarter. So if you signed up now, you would have May, June, plus July, August, September to meet that first minimums, and then after that it's 3 monthly. So if you've got any questions, please let me know. All right, well, thanks for being here today, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon. Until next time.